Okay, next question. As an incumbent, if you were elected sheriff and you're the incumbent, will you, during the next election, and if you choose to run, will you attend the debates, or will you stay at home, or how would you plan it? Would you try to attend all the debates, or how would you handle it?
Short answer is yes.
Okay.
George, I've said this several times, and I don't understand this, but this is an application process. We're applying for a job. We've been asked to interview before the people that potentially hire us.
Yes, sir.
And to not show up to that interview, to me, is basically saying you don't want the job.
In addition to that, for some reason, I've been on the jail for probably 2 decades or more, and the question that I'm asked repeatedly, but what gets me now is that the deputies and some jailers, who I do have contact with certain people in that jail, I've had for quite a while, and that's where I find out some things going on out there. But there's a rumor from the people that talks to me that there is no captain, no black in the position of captain, and qualified, I may add, since Leroy Smith was out there. Do you know anything about that? Or what? And wait just a minute now. And if there is not a black captain, at least in that position, what would you do to try to bring about change?
Well, you've got to have diversity within in order to deal with diversity on the outside. And I've made this statement several times, and obviously I cannot mention the name because jeopardizing my employees. But there is one particular individual down there that I really think a lot of. He's highly qualified. He's a black. A good friend, been there a long time. He was overlooked for a particular captain position, not even given a chance for an interview. And everybody in that department that you talk to will tell you that he's absolutely deserving and the best qualified man for the job. It's unfair. We got to fix that. And my intention is, when I've got to get there, I've got to win the vote tomorrow night and get there. My intention is to change the public perspective of the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office and make history. Okay,
you're not just saying you're going to put a black, but you want to make sure that you put a black qualified, or not necessarily a male, but female, but you just want to make sure that there's diversity, as you said earlier.
That's right. And it shouldn't matter what color or male or female. If it's the best qualified individual for the job, then that's the person that should hands down get that job.
Another question I have for you is that, and in fact, I'm going to ask you in this form here, if you were elected sheriff, and when you're elected sheriff, would you make a commitment to me as your friend, as I'm a friend of Sheriff Prine today? Would you make some type of arrangements or commitment to me that you will do everything within your power to make the names, or at least the number of jail deaths that have occurred from 1994 to date, make that public to the news media, and so it will stop me from having to keep blogging and YouTubing? And I think that when, as you said earlier, transparency and shining the light, it cuts down on curiosity, because we do know that when you have that many people, you're going to have deaths. But when the citizens feel that they are being treated fairly, then they just feel better about the sheriff's department. Will you make me any kind of commitment on that?
Well, I committed. Transparency is the only way to go. And I learned a long time ago that if you're honest out front and you're the first to tell it, then there's not an awful lot of negative repercussions from that.
Yeah. I'm getting a little personal here, J.D. I'm asking you just because, I mean, this is nothing I have on paper. I just want to know, because I've covered a lot of these forums, and my question is to you: how do you answer these questions so easily? It seems like to me, was you born with that gift, or what's the deal on you, man? Come on, let's level on that now.
Well, if you're telling the truth and you know what you're talking about, it's very easy to talk. You haven't asked me a question in any of our interviews, and I haven't been asked a question in any of the forums that I wasn't comfortable in saying I know the answer to this question. If I didn't know the answer, I would be the first to tell you I don't know the answer and I can't answer that question, but I'll research it for you, and if you'll give me time, I'll get back to you. I'm not scared of a microphone, and you know, singing most of my life, I'm not scared of crowds.
What kind of singing, man?
I've done a lot of gospel music singing
Okay.
over my lifetime and sang part-time.
Oh, that's nothing. Back on point now. Back on point.
There you go.
All right, okay.
Keep one on.
No, I just, oh my goodness. That they got a lot to do with it if you can sing. But look here, my next question is, in the city of Valdosta, we have city and county officials that do a prelude before public meetings. Then, following the meeting, they have another recap of the meeting that they will only give to conservative radio. What will you do as sheriff, if elected, to break that trend? Because the professors at VSU, civil rights organizations, and women groups have been asking the question. I may be able to add Moody Air Force Base, but I can't use them because I have a check with them. But the ones I'm talking about, I do know. What would you do as sheriff to try to disseminate the same information to all segments of the community and not just the conservative stations? I don't know how it will be done, but will you work toward, what do you think about that?
Well, and I don't think I really understand your question.
Well, let me try again. Hold on.
Outside the county commission meetings and such as that is outside the realm of the sheriff's authority. Press releases, let me just go over that.
Okay.
Press releases, we will compile a list of those people who want our press releases. And every time we send a press release, then we'll send it to all of those people that want, all of those outlets that want them. I don't care if it's conservative media or whatever, that doesn't matter to me.
Okay, JD, it disturbs me. I've been at this since 1975. It disturbs me when someone says they don't quite understand me. Now, let me try again to make it very clear. I want you to understand me because I don't like to be misunderstood. What I mean by that is the current sheriff and sheriff before him would go on conservative radio and they would talk about the issues of whatever they may be, just like the city and the county. But when it comes down to the majority of people in the city, they don't know anything about what's going on in the community. It's like as if though we got two communities. And so what I'm saying to you, my beautiful brother, is this. What will you do to try to make an assertive effort to ensure that not only the conservative or the traditional historic news media outlet that seem to get all of the attention, how will you reach out to other segments of our community who may not listen to country and western, or who may not just listen to, you understand me now?
I got you.
Okay, yeah.
Let me answer that question for a question. I'm here today on.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody who wants to be a part of it, I want them to be a part of it. And I want them to have the information that they request and that they need.
Okay. Now, you sound like Mayor Gayle. I'm sorry, we've been to roll this thing out. Now, no disrespect to him either. But because I've been on this a long time, and I've been with the professors at VSU, and I've had Larry Hanson say, George, the city manager, anytime you call me to be on a radio broadcast with you, I've always been there. And I have other people say the same thing. That is true. But I feel, and others feel, that you all, not you now, but you who are in elected positions have a requirement, should have a strong desire to be equal and fair to all of the citizens, not just a select few. I shouldn't have to come to any elected officials and say you need to be on Kentucky Fried Chicken radio station or any other of that matter. You see what I'm saying? So I think that what I'm saying short form is that what will you do to ensure that you would try to become more accessible to all radio stations? And I'm not just talking about the sheriff. It really goes to everybody. So we can move right on if you want to. If you got any closing comment, we're not going to dwell on that anymore.
The easy answer to that is when we send out a press release, we're going to send it to the Rivers Radio Group. We're going to send it to Black Crow. We're going to send it to every other radio station in town, and we're going to send it to the media, the other media outlets, the newspapers and the television stations. So you'll have all the information.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm recording this, so I will be able to call back and refer back on this if you get like. All right. Now, what is the salary of the Lowndes County Sheriff? Can you tell me that?
It's $88,000 a year.
Wow. You know, I was sitting just before I came out here. I was sitting down at the table having some coffee, and one of my friends, Freddie Richardson, asked me. He said, "You're not going to ask him that, are you?" I said, "Yeah, because a lot of people probably want to know. We want to know."
Record.
Yeah, that's what I told him. It's on the internet too. So appreciate that. Now. What?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
It's a heck of a cut and pay for me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. By the way, what have you done since you left the sheriff's department?
I've been in the real estate business. I've been very blessed. I've been really successful, and I give God all the glory.
Okay.
This is my heart.
Okay. One other question, and I'm getting, I'm not an easy interviewer. Reverend Joseph Lowry in Atlanta told me Well, he commended, but my question now is this may, I don't mean to ruffle your feathers, but in June of '97, the Honorable Judge Hugh Lawson, the Middle District of Georgia, Valdosta Division, found 105 violations in that jail. That was back then. That was also before they built this new jail. So my question is, whoever ensured that Judge Hugh Lawson, if you know, ever made sure that those 105 violations was ever corrected?
I can't
you wouldn't
answer
know
that question.
Okay.
In 1997, I was riding Interstate 75.
Okay.
I was a drug interdiction officer.
Okay.
So I can't answer that.
Okay. Well, my thing is that I wrote the DA, and I've never found out anyone yet. So if you become sheriff, and if you find out whoever followed up on it, let me know, because at that time we only had 3 deaths in the jail. Now we have 30 plus 8, 11, or 12 suicides, and we are leading the state of Georgia in jail deaths. We're even leading Fulton County in jail death for whatever reason. And that's not your ball of wax, and we're not even going to address that. We just going to, if nobody else has answered it, we just move right along. How will you support or not support do you support the sheriff escorting the deceased citizens in our community from the home or whatever or from the funeral home to the grave site? Do you have any problem with that, or will you support that, or would you bring in a new law on that?
No, sir. Absolutely. That's the last thing that we can do out of respect for that person and their family. It's just an honorable thing to do, and that's what we need to do. And we'll continue to do it as long as I'm in charge.
Okay. I was also asked a question about the using commercial property in bailing someone out of jail. I understand, or I misunderstood someone is saying that you cannot use commercial property under Sheriff Prine to bail people out. Do you know anything about that? Or is that just a rumor in the community?
No, I think you understood it right. And the same man told me the same thing. He owns that property outright. It's his property. If he wants to put that property up for a bond, then he can do that. He was denied that ability, but honestly, I couldn't tell you why, because I would have certainly approved that bond. As long as it reached the amount that it was necessary to reach, and I know that it did.
We're going to get ready to wrap this up, okay? And I want to thank you for coming. I'm going to give you a minute or so to give your closing remarks. We want to thank you for coming, and we want to thank Sheriff Prine for his service to the community over the last years, and we thank him. I'm sure that he would have came if he didn't have other obligations, and we highly respect him. This radio station and myself, I always want to be above board and be fair to everybody, and we extended our hands to him, and he had other engagements. But in closing, give us some closing remarks of what do you want to happen tomorrow, and where you're going to take the people that vote for you on tomorrow.
Well, obviously, what I want is for people to base their decision tomorrow on the qualifications of each candidate, their abilities, and the facts that we've tried our best to put out there. Not on personal issues, not on who's known each other the longest or where we might each of us go to church. I want it to be based on our abilities, and I hope that people would just go and vote their conscience, exercise their right, let their voices be heard. And obviously, I feel like that I'm the better qualified candidate to do this job. He's had a chance for 4 years to show this community what he can or cannot do. And I'm asking for an opportunity to work for the people in this community and show them that I can. Make it something that we can be proud of again. And that people will know that when they pick up the telephone, they're going to get an answer. They're going to get a response. If they call us into their neighborhood, whether it be in the city of Hayhire, Remerton, Lake Park, Valdosta, or in the unincorporated areas of Lowndes County, that a deputy sheriff or one of us is going to show up to address their concerns, and that's all I want. It's pretty simple. My platform is pretty simple.
Seriously.
Okay, we thank you very much, and we're going to close this up. I want to thank V-96. I want to thank my brother here for helping us out on today. And look here, to all the radio listeners, if you didn't catch this, you want your friend to listen to it, just go to Boston G.B.R. on YouTube, and you can hear the entire interview. Once again, this is George Boston Rhymes on behalf of myself and all those out here at the station. Bye-bye.